What's up, everybody? It's your favorite unexpected reviews, favorite nerd, and today we are looking at Jiang Xing, JX, Mattel Beast, Winged Dragon. This is sent to me from Micah. I appreciate the opportunity. Shipping was crazy. It's gonna be crazy for me to send it back too. God bless. Anyway, look, I think, we all know this is a KO company, but this is an original mold, right? And I have to be true to my word, and my word has been that I won't review KOs, but if a KO company does an original product and I have access to it, I will take a look at it. Well, turns out I have access to it, so guess what we're doing? We're taking a look at it. That being said, right out of the box, I had mixed feelings about it. There's things that I liked, things that I didn't like, things I was impressed by, things I was not so much. So we're gonna get into it, but there's only one way to really get into it, and that's with accessories. So he comes with 4 swap out faces. One, I can't believe that's not Butterface. One, I really enjoy Carry Gold Butterface. One, I won't eat margarine face. And one, I don't know, I'm out of options, dude. What do you mean they don't have butter here face? All decoed the same, which is to say, much like the head sculpt he has on, which we'll take a look at when we get to the review. You also get these 2 effect pieces. One is this blue kind of fire and ice, wings of fire, dragon effect. It comes in 2 pieces. You just find the notch, you find where it squares up, and then you insert it until you can keep tension on it. And it's a blue translucent, well, it's a clear translucent that's faded to blue at the end. Same thing here for the orange. The orange has a bit more fading and kind of fluctuation within the color scheme, but it lines up the same way. You kind of, I thought it did anyway. Good. Oh, there it is, maybe. I don't know. I'll show it with both. I'll show you how it plugs into the dragon mouth, and then we'll show one in robot mode and one in dragon mode. You can then take your plug here. There's a port for it inside the mouth, which is made up of yellow translucent. And then there's a switch on the back of the head that you can toggle for on off. However, this doesn't have batteries in it. I certainly don't have spare ones that it needs sitting around. So that's the vibes. But that's how it works. And there it is with the blue action. Let's get into the review. And this is a very big figure to try and review. But we're gonna give it our best shot. So we have the head here, right? Everything is painted on this guy, and the paint is beautiful. It's getting scuffed, it's chipping all over the place, it's not super well applied, but it is beautiful looking. For the top here, we have metallic orange and metallic red, we have the metallic yellow, and then we have all the details in the face, including the orange, purple eyes rather, and then the gray chin strap underneath, and the gray details on the side. And it's sculpted, I think, accurately. That is to say, I think it looks dumb, but it is sculpted accurately, so I guess it is sculpted well, if that makes sense. For the head itself, it's hard to kind of manipulate it, but I want to show you the engineering. It's on a ball peg. The helmet is kind of part of the tail. You can maneuver it around and get the head up a bit. You can get it down a bit. You can swivel it a little, but you end up running into problems with the tail bumping into stuff. So it's not limited by the engineering of the head, it's limited by the engineering of how the tail attaches to the head, and that's what keeps it kind of out of sorts. And then we have the translucent plastic there, and there, once again for deco. Now you have these shoulder pads, they lift up. You have ratcheted. Oh, I thought they were ratcheted. Oh yeah. Yeah, they're soft ratcheted, it seems. No, it's here that it's a soft ratchet. So it's basically a double universal system from here to here. You can get the arm up the full range. I'll try to back out a bit. And down. There's that hard ratchet. Swivel it around. You have some fur sculpted on here, and once again, it's fully painted. A couple scales sculpted on there, larger scales there. Once again, the scale design follows through to the forearm, and all of that stuff does look nice. You have it's really a single jointed elbow with a die cast piece holding it together here for a good range. Once again, fully painted. Once again, the scales and the spikes here. You have the hand, it's on a swivel here, and it hinges in out. Then the fingers are all individually articulated at a base pin, at a ball peg at the base knuckle, and then secondary hinges that are pinned and tertiary hinges that are pinned as well. The thumb is on a ball peg with a hinge. You can get that out as well and swivel it around, and then you have a secondary hinge at the first or the second knuckle there. So all of that is done pretty much perfectly. The other side is not the same because it's a dragon head. So you have the same kind of engineering here at the shoulder. You have a universal joint and then just a ratcheted swivel. But there is a hinge below it, so it's pretty much the same. Using both, you can get the arm all the way up to there. And then you can swivel it around here at the base. Now you have this secondary hinge here that allows the dragon arm to move in and out. And then you have a swivel, which is basically at the bicep, but it's also for the neck. Okay, then you have every one of these bits of the dragon neck here. So, you know, there's one here, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they're all on ball pegs. And you can get a decent range. I'll try to show. You know, a little limited side to side, but up and down is not a problem, and you can kind of manipulate your pieces here. I do like the underbelly sculpting here. If you take a look, like it looks like the underbelly of a dragon, but it's also like just some interesting detail to kind of show. So I like that. Then we had the fur sculpted on, we had the horn sculpted on, we had the metallic reds, golds, and purple on the front of the face of the dragon. Plus, it can open up to there. All of that is sculpted and painted inside. So all of that stuff is really quite well done. Now, we have the hips, or the waist rather. You get a swivel. You get an ab crunch to there, which is pretty decent. Back up a bit. Close it back down. You have universals for hips. That gets you the full Van Damme. It's just a little unwieldy. And forward and back for the full Monty, pretty much. Little limited. I'd say we give it to him. We have ball peg flaps here. Even if it's not exactly the full Monty, I don't think that you'll need any more articulation in the hips than what it provides. We have a thigh swivel built around the universal joint. That's my preferred way of doing business. We have a double jointed knee that gets you a great range past 90 degrees. We have this little we have some interesting sculpt stuff going on down here. So we have this interesting thing here, the black, the green, the chrome, plus the red metallics, the scales on this claw here, the scales on the toe, the purple paint pops up again, and then we have the feet, which we'll get to here in a second. Same for this side. Now, for the ankles, you have an ankle tilt down on a die cast part. You have an ankle tilt up on that same die cast part. You have a rocker, so perfectly articulated there, and then the toes all spread out and hinge at the secondary knuckle. So, pretty well done. Now, we have one more thing left to show. And that is the wings. So, you've got a hinge at the top here. I hope that you guys can see some of this stuff. As well as this kind of claw that's hinged at two places. Then you have the separate section of wings. They're all on they're all on a base hinge, but they all also articulate differently on separate flaps in and out. So they're really well articulated, plus you have the scales that are all sculpted in there and the metallic paints throughout, except for on the wings, but the wings have airbrushing paint from the bottom of the wing, which is a red that fades up to the gold, that's the base color paint. So, really well decoed once again. Deco is not this guy's issue at all. Alright, on the back. There's a look, I'll back it out. He is kind of a mess. You're gonna need a lot of space and a very specific pose to kind of pull this guy off and make him not look junky, just because of the amount of stuff that's hanging off of him. So that's this guy. Let me show you a size comparison. There he is with Fans Toys Grimlock, so that should give you some sort of an idea as to size. And there he is next to Apollyon, just because I have him handy. So, pretty massive Megatron. let's get them transformed, and let's start with this hand. Try to compact as much of this as possible, which isn't much. All right, so open that up. I found that if you spin the hand around so that it's kind of facing the opposite direction, it'll fit in that cavity a bit better, and then close up. You can take this and twist it around to the back. Bring your shoulder pad up, and then just bring your arm up. For this arm, you want to take this flap, unpeg it, spin it 180, and then put it back down as you straighten this out so that it forms a full, complete underbelly of the dragon kind of throat. For the hips, get them up and out of the way, the hip skirts, and then kind of turn it into a combiner. Then use your ab crunch to get this out of the way, and you want to move your flip flaps here up. They're on ball pegs. This one's really loose. This one's toleranced a bit better. So just do the best you can. And then you want to bring this back up. Now you probably can do that without having to do all that step, but it does make it easier to show on camera. On the back, lift up the dragon tail, lift up this back part here. It will expose the other dragon arm. You want to bring that around to the front. Move the dragon. Dude, things fall off of this thing. Like I've lost the hip flaps twice. I have this weird piece of like paper that's painted that fell off of it. And now the dragon arm. Just keep a tally. So bring that around to the front. Then you need to open up this piece here. And then you need to untab this entire back section from the front section. And it just explodes. And then you want to take this up and clear your two spikes here, which you probably can't even see, but these purple spikes. There we go. This will allow you access to the other dragon arm, which you then can get out and out of your way. You don't need to sort it out too much, but I just like to have everything kind of parallel. So you got your two dragon arms out now, and now you can also, honestly, while you're here, take this back piece out and spin this around, and that comes up to the top as well. By your two spiky bits that you had to clear here, you'll notice two red pieces that are on screws. You just need to bring them out and then push them together until they meet together. Then you have this gray bar that the tail is attached to. Now, where it attaches inside of the body, it's on a slider. So we need to get it up and around and slide it down and bring it between the two pieces right here that we just opened to kind of receive it, so to speak. Now we need to fill up this chest cavity with the robot arm. So the way that we have it bent up, just take it in and slide it against the front of the chest. Just make sure that this joint, this second part of that universal that we talked about, is all the way down. And then you can close that up, and you can also close this little back scaly part up on top as well. Now for your tail. So swivel that whole chest plate 180 degrees. Make sure the head is lined up. This needs to come up and over. These two bracket pieces on the side need to swivel towards the back. This comes up and over and plugs into there. And then these pieces come up and over top. And I am trying my best. But this piece comes up and covers down. And these pieces, those two tabs, can you see them right there? There's one, come on girl, right there. that tab goes into that corresponding slot. Same thing on the other side, and then this piece comes up and sits between the two of them. I'm gonna try to get it off camera because I just can't get it from this angle. All right, that was a massive pain. So take your legs, open them up, so to speak, get these little things spun around, these shoulder pads, and take this gray piece here, bring it out, bring out these little tabs. Then this will come down and tab in to the tail to lock all of that together. And I'm not going to waste your time with that. You get the idea there. And then this piece rocks down and sits against that belly. Make sure you push your little orange button gimmicky thing in there. And bring your arms out and straighten them up, and you'll have a dragon on your hands. I got to get this guy massively cleaned up, and then we'll take a look at him. So look, there it is. You know, and it's kind of the same deal. It's beautiful. It's very pretty. I think it even has, I can't tell whether it's lights or not. But it has this kind of the magenta spray down the center of the spine of the arm. It seems like under some light. Articulation wise, I don't feel like we need to go over much more. The tail is all on ball pegs at every single knuckle connection, and then this piece here does articulate. I mean, it's massive, this thing. Parts of it don't stay connected. Parts of it are fiddly. Parts of it fall apart, or come off, rather. You have this thing. I don't know what this is. If this is some sort of character design thing for the character, I don't know. You got this little, looks like there's some stuff going on, that little thing. It seems like there's a ball peg or something in there, but I'm not sure. The only thing that we haven't talked about is the dragon arm. It's on a ball peg here. It doesn't hold tremendously well because all of the claws here are die cast, and they are beautifully done. And then the sculpt work on the arm, once again, is beautifully done. It's basically a ball peg at the end of a swivel, so you're going to be able to articulate it fully. You do get a bicep swivel, a single hinged elbow that gets you the whole run, and then the fingers are on a base pin knuckle. Look, I don't know, man. It's not all bad, but it definitely, like, I think it would probably be better if it was smaller. I think it's trying to wear fancier pants than it deserves, in all honesty. But there it is next to Tiger Tracks. It's just like, it just seems a little sloppy. It's like the toy equivalent of putting away dishes when you don't know exactly where they go. What in the world? Looks like a fork to me. Thoughts-wise, let's start with the negatives, and they're mainly that of build quality. The build quality just isn't there, and the engineering is a little sloppy. They try to use really fancy things here, and I applaud them for it, but they don't have the build quality to stand up to those fancy things. They don't have the build quality to overcome some of their engineering clunkiness. They don't have the build quality to overcome some of the die cast in their joints that the ball pegs won't sustain. They don't have the build quality to operate complex systems at varying tolerances for large range of articulation when each component is constantly trying to work against itself to undo itself. That's the biggest issue here. This seems like somebody who got a little money that wasn't used to it. Like they've been eating knockoff cereal their whole life and they just had their first sausage, egg, and cheese. It seems like a valiant attempt at a boxing match with someone far out of your weight class. But that isn't to say that it's all bad. There's some really, really ingenious and beautiful sculpt work, incorporating all of the hair and fur of the dragon into the actual mold, incorporating the scales at different widths and lengths and sizes throughout that make it constantly visually interesting while maintaining a motif of the dragon throughout the sculpt. Don't think that's lost on me, it's not. The deco, absolutely amazing. Metallic paints throughout, splashed against translucents at appropriate places, light up gimmicks, raw die cast that gives the illusion of chrome alongside alongside chrome pieces, alongside, I think, airbrush shading in certain spots, but I can't even be 100% clear because it's done so well. It also has most of the articulation engineering you would ever want built in it. It's all in there. I think it was just too ambitious of a piece for their level of expertise in regards to build at the moment, but I think they have potential to make great things. I wouldn't put it past them. I can recommend this if you want to display it in dragon mode and are willing to do what it takes to get it there. If you want to flip it back and forth, if you want to use it in any regard as a toy and not a display piece, you are going to be disappointed. At least that's how I feel. So overall, I do not recommend it. However, if you want to display a pretty wicked dragon, this is probably the wickedest. It's also probably the worst built of the options currently available. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.